Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Deep Video 3030. 30 videos in 30 days. We are joined in studio by none other than Alex, the Preparation Lee.
I forgot you gave me that nickname.
I almost did too. Like, I remember there was a nickname, and it took me just a few seconds to remember what that nickname was.
And I love how you take so much ownership of the studio when it's my Man Cave Studios.
Welcome to the Deep Video Studios. Well,
Yeah.
it's a miniature takeover. I think I've got like 20 seconds on this bat tech.
Yeah, you've taken over, and you're actually sitting in front of my board. I'm in a very
It's really weird, man.
awkward position, and you're on my show right now.
Yeah,
which is
I'm
the
on your
weirdest part.
show.
I let you take over my show.
We're like hybridizing shows.
And it's not that you haven't been on the show for 60 some odd episodes.
We're kind of like, we're cooperating on building a show. That's what we're doing.
It's the full-on cooperation.
Right, indeed. So what am I doing taking over your show this evening? What are we doing?
That's a great question. I was going to leave it to you, and I honestly have no preference.
Okay, well, as you know, and hopefully now some of your listeners know, we are joined today in studio by Paul Walford Jr., who is one of the, technically, I can't utilize the term employee, right? But
Yeah, because you don't pay him.
Right. It's like
I do not get paid. I don't receive any sort of compensation.
you get insults, bro,
I am only paid with insults.
for your time. That's it. Now, so Paul's one of the guys that's interested in incubating this grand scheme idea that I've been cooking up for a number of years. And I know that when me, you, and Mark were starting production on trade paper hacks way back in the day, I kind of hinted at some ideas that I had, right? It was like this thing that I seem to remember saying, I have this idea that one day there will exist a major multimedia network for YouTubings and stuff.
The entire time. It was just...
Yeah. So it's like that back then. It was literally an idea, right? And it was I didn't realize it at the time, but I was going through the paces of learning all the things that I needed to learn to make it a reality. And I'm not there yet. I'm probably 6 months to a year from making this a 100% reality.
6.3 months.
6.3 months? Is that it?
Because we're a couple weeks into June?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah,
exactly
be
what it is.
accurate.
So what we're doing right now is we're launching an Indiegogo campaign. We're trying to get the crew of Deep Video down to Austin, Texas, July 29th through the 31st, because the Worker Cooperative National Conference is taking place down there. This is part of the, I can't remember the name, U.S. Federal Workers, blah, 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 blah.
Is this the part of the video where you do an overlay and it says this is what he actually meant to say?
These guys.
It's the United States Federation of Cooperatives.
This guy knows things.
Sounds like a Star Trek fleet.
And that's why I love it.
That sold us on the whole bit, actually. We had no idea what it was. We're like,
Right.
dude, that sounds awesome.
Yo, is this some kind of organization? No, it's a federation?
We're in.
All right.
Done.
We're in. This
John
is what that is.
Where's my red shirt?
Oh.
Well,
So, the idea is that once we get down there, that we'll be able to take part in some of the types of workshops that they have available, like Financing 101, how to incorporate. I'm looking really to find the experts in the field out there of either transitioning LLCs into cooperatives or just incubating them from the ground up. And the idea is that they're going to, we'll be the diamond in the rough. We'll be able to walk in there and say, look what we've developed, look what we have in mind, help us figure out where the money is to get it off the ground and moving.
because normally when things are successful, they're upstarted by rich white kids, already rich white kids.
That's exactly how it goes. No, actually, I really don't hold any qualms. What I really believe is that this cooperative is going to come up off the bootstraps, literally. I think that it's going to be more and more people like you and I, where what we've done is work on a product that we've created out of our own pockets and with skills that we've built over the course of a year or more, right?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, that's the type of creator I'm interested in meeting. That's the person I want to pitch to. Like, I want to pitch to you about the concept of how a cooperative works and all that other stuff.
So is that what we're doing today?
Not exactly. It's this is like the insidious, underhanded thing where I get all the information I need so that later, 6 months down the line, I can come back and say, hey, remember how, listen, I've got these solutions to these problems.
Right. So that later we could craft the pitch
Right.
engineered specifically to you.
Yeah, you just spend the entire time like, okay, he had this qualm. Let's go ahead and have this solution.
Right,
And, well,
yeah.
and people do that in the business world. I'm not
Well,
joking.
yeah.
Like, if you answer any sort of questions on the phone, all of a sudden the sales pitch presentation, the PowerPoint has every
Right.
single thing that you accidentally brought up.
Right. I mean, I'm not trying to be that over the top with it, but I am, as I meet new people, I'm coming into understandings of some of their shortfalls. Like, it's like, what do you need to make it work? What does TPH need to go to the next level? Right? What does deep video need to go to the next
Answer that
level?
question.
Listeners and
That's a question.
viewers.
Right.
Listeners
yes.
and viewers.
So how do we get there with like all the tricks, right? SEO, proper management of the social media, this, that, and the other. There's so many things that can be done, but can you do it alone?
See, so I figured out the strategy. The perfect
Okay,
strategy
let's hear
is to just up your hashtag game on Instagram.
Right. Oh, so it's like hashtag, and then written out hashtag?
No, literally what you do, and I'm not joking, this is what all the
Okay.
popular people on Instagram do. They get tons of thousands and thousands and thousands of followers. They go out and they find every important hashtag
Okay.
that gets tons of searches and stuff like that.
Right.
And they'll make their post, and then as a comment, the first comment on their post, they list 30 hashtags, which is the limit that Instagram will give
Really?
you, and it brings in everybody. Like right now, Trade Paper Hacks has the biggest carbon fiber money clip following that you've ever seen, like 6 or 7 carbon fiber money clips. And
That's
and
funny.
honestly,
That's funny.
I'm really looking to put those bags in the background and move my way up to carbon fiber wallets.
That's right. You can't, I mean, you know, that and then Tyvek. You got to go carbon fiber because it's a slightly older technology, and then you work your way up to Tyvek.
Yeah, and it's full titanium wallets.
That's right.
And then maybe a tungsten clutch.
That could be very helpful.
All on Instagram. Thank you, Instagram.
I am a machinist in my spare time, so
It's the thing. There's an opportunity here. This is what I do. I like to go out and meet people in their natural habitats, find the problems, spark some ideas, get some stuff moving.
I'm a machinist whenever I lose too much weight.
Your references are out of control. Everyone knows that.
Because arms
Chris,
and like mechanical.
Christian Bale in The Machinist when he lost a bunch of weight. Okay.
Yes, yes, indeed.
It's not funny if you have to explain it!
But it's your show. It's everything's funny. Like I mean, it's nerd centric in your show.
It's
awesome,
why I have
right?
a laugh track.
There you go.
It's like Big Bang Theory would not have been as popular
No,
had people not
stop.
known when to laugh.
That's a really
true.
good point. I didn't even think about that. As somebody usually catches the jokes, that wasn't even. I hate you now. You just broke the show for me.
Don't ask me anything about House Hunters on HGTV.
Okay, I won't.
I will wreck that for you.
that's
So, wow, yeah. I'm glad my mother-in-law doesn't listen to the show. That's what you get her with that one. So, I mean, all right. So, do you have any questions about any of this that you've heard so far?
I thought you were interviewing me. What happened?
This is part of the process.
Oh, okay.
I try to make it a two-way street. I try to like find out the things that you're curious about as we go into this interview, and then extrapolate on those, and then I'll hit you with the points.
Sure, no, I get you. Are you going to be like very coy and just like answer all of my questions with yet another question?
No.
Oh.
Hopefully not.
I'm not giving you that much credit then.
I hope not.
Okay, so you asked, where's Trade Paper Hacks going? You didn't
Sure.
ask where it's been. It's
Well, I know. Well,
in the gutter, you know. But your viewers don't know.
Trade paper hacks. So actually, yeah, let's talk about that before we can move forward. What is trade paper hacks? So,
Yeah.
Alex, you let it rip. This is your show. I'm just here for a while.
Trade Paper Hacks is a local podcast out of the DFW area, focusing on comic books, nerd culture, and genuinely anything I want to talk about.
Especially the hatred of Dan Slott.
You gonna make me do it?
Yeah, dude.
Dan Slot!
Thank you.
That's how easy that is.
Thank you very much.
And and now your viewers who, like the 1 or 2 crossover viewers that have
Right.
ever been on both of our channels, now know the secret to how I do that.
They see it. They see it. It's too late.
And this is behind the scenes. No, so it's a comic book podcast. It got started out of Generation X comics and games.
Comics and games of the southeast corner of Harwood and 121 in lovely Bedford, Texas.
Yeah, I guess I should do that for the camera too.
Yeah.
The show is brought to you by Generation X Comics and Games. And the reason I used to do the point,
It's because there was a sign.
There
out
was a
there.
sign.
No one could see it.
and the reason I pointed at it was because I kept saying the name wrong.
Right.
And so I had to like look at it, I'd point at it, and that's when I would always say it.
Right. And then it just turned into a pose, like a pre-show pose.
It's
It was
a
pretty good, yeah.
mid-show, early show.
That's true, yeah.
I have done it every. When I'm doing solo shows, I still do it. You know, I point.
Nice. It's about that posing, dude. It gets you going.
Yeah, I'm a posing. See my beach ball, about this big.
Been doing he's doing the Hogan routine.
All right, so trade paper hacks, comics, pop culture, all that. We were 3 of us that were doing weekly production.
At any given time, it was
Right.
3
It
people,
was kinda like a
4
shell
at most.
game.
It was a
Week
shell
to week.
game, and we always had our friends that would come in and fill guest spots. And
Shout out to Mark Tran. Hello, Mr. Scott White.
Yeah.
Allie, Brooke,
Brooke,
Josh, all of them.
We had Ricky Wright,
We did have
who'd come
Ricky.
on for a little bit, who's actually the only one out of my corner that didn't work at the comic shop.
True.
And then we had a couple of other rando guests from other productions like Cospod, Valerie from Cospod,
Oh,
and
right,
stuff
yeah.
like that. And I'm saying I'm doing all this in past tense.
Right, yeah.
Because
I know what you mean,
it's
'cause it
still a
feels-
show.
Yeah, but it kind of, well, for me at least, it kind of feels that way. And I guess that's a question for you. Like,
Okay.
given how the show has gone, how are you feeling about it when you're kind of juggling? I assume you're juggling all this solo now.
So what really happened, and to fill in everybody at home,
Sure.
what really happened was, I want to say somewhere in the late 60s, and in terms of episode numbers.
Well, I
you
was-
left the show. Was it 50s?
I was like at 48. I was at 48 or
Jeez.
49.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you left the show around episode 48, and it was just me and Mark, and if we found a rando guest to come in, we'd have them,
Right.
fill in. And then Mark left in the late 60s.
Yeah, like 65?
5?
Something like that.
Or mid-60s.
It matters. We
So, and I didn't want to... I have some sort of BS integrity. I'm like, I got to keep the show alive,
Sure.
I mean,
It can go. I can do it.
there's no reason for me to stop other than time, laziness. Like, I should have the integrity to want to keep going.
Okay, but that gets us. That's the real question. What are you getting out of this?
Nothing. No, and that's something you and I have always butted heads on, is, and not just you and me, my
Right.
friends who witness the show and who watch me produce stuff on a normal basis, whether it be this, I did music back in the day,
Right.
I'll do random art, all that kind of stuff. I never wanted to get anything out of my creative ventures
Okay.
other than a platform in which to perform. And that's literally all I've ever wanted to do.
Give me a stage.
Because I did choir for 6 years in school, and
Yeah.
I tried theater.
Right on.
I had one production, and I played a rat in Charlotte's Web.
Yes.
Doing my best Paul Lynn
I was
impersonation.
gonna say, can you give me a Paul Lynch smorgasbord? No, I'm kidding. No pressure.
You don't want me to
You don't have to summon that one.
maybe later in B-roll.
Sure, no worries.
You gotta get some practice. I gotta get some.
I know. There's so much prep
Yeah,
to
right.
being a rat.
But no, I've always wanted a platform in which to perform. And
Sure.
I already love talking comics. The only reason we actually started recording is because we were all conversing, that's the word I was going to aim for. We were already all talking about it weekly in a comic shop. We were like, you know
Right.
what, we're really freaking smart, and we really know what we're talking about. We have a plethora of knowledge. We should just record this and see if anybody wants to listen to it, because what would happen is we would have these conversations at the comic shop, and then people would just gather around and listen. And occasionally they would chime in, but now that I do it in all in hindsight, those people chime in about the same frequency as they do now on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
So, or they text me after the show because they know me or
Right
something
on,
like
yeah.
that. I've got to know so many people through the show, whether it would be at the con that we worked or
Right. Well, I mean, we did stuff, dude.
the con where we did nothing but flirt with cosplay chicks.
I mean, you mean the con where you got slapped by a cosplay chick?
Are you gonna roll that footage right here?
Yeah, I'm gonna have
Roll
to
the
steal it
footage.
from you, I think.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
You still have that flash drive.
What? I have your flash
I know
drive?
you have your flash drive. Remember we put
shit.
on
I
two
was like, no,
giant
wait.
flash drives?
Well, since then, I lost it. That flash drive disappeared from my ownership at the Rail Club in Fort Worth one night because I was supposed to be pulling audio off the board out there, and I completely forgot about it, and it doesn't exist anymore. That was a beast-ass flash drive. That's why. It's gone, dude.
Somebody had a good payday off that one.
Yeah, they did.
Somebody got lucky. No, and I met a lot of people, and we decided that we were just going to start throwing it out there and seeing if anybody picked it up. We were getting, in our heyday, and this isn't, people are going to not brag about this, but on a weekly basis, we get about 100 to 150 listens. And the number has genuinely dropped since then, and it's my own fault for not marketing and not doing anything like that. When y'all left, well, you were never on the show.
I was totally on the show in spirit. You have
Yes,
no
very
idea.
But when you were on the show, when Mark was on the show, and when our other guests were on the show, it was 150 listens on a good day,
Right.
on a good week, and that's more than local bands get out to a venue.
Right.
And you think about it, but it's a lot easier and a lot cheaper, right? It's a
Right.
it's a very affordable piece of entertainment to have.
Right, right.
And that appealed to me too. That it was very easy to engage with, and absolutely free. And what you're doing is you're inviting people in to listen to you. And if people listen to you voluntarily, let alone pay for it, right?
Right.
I think after you start paying for something, as much as I absolutely suggest that people monetize everything,
Right.
I really believe that if people have no obligation to keep listening, and they do, or viewing or doing anything like that, you have real fans.
Sure.
You have real things. Now, if they want to pay you for the service, those are real fans that you fill a purpose in their life.
Sure.
To where
you have enough
yeah,
value to
You create
compensated
value
for it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%.
You fill up a hole in their life that without you, they don't want to lose you so much so that they'll contribute towards your cause.
Right.
And
right.
that's absolutely wonderful as well. I just never got to that point. I'm saying, hey, voluntarily, come listen to me. I'm not saying
Right.
I'm never going to try to monetize it. And you were always more creative with that kind of, like, how do we monetize
Well, I
things
mean,
than I was.
You know, like I hit the ground. So I'm remembering something that you asked. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
So it's
Trip
classic,
down memory
right?
lane.
It's classic that we butt heads, right? But one of the earliest times that you and I butt heads, and I think it was almost prior,
Day one.
Yeah, pretty much. It was prior to actually starting production on any shows. And one of the things you'd ask me was, well, if you can do all this stuff, because as I hired on, when I hired on, I didn't even send a resume, right? Like, well, I mean to Gen X.
Oh, okay. I think you meant
When
like
I-
onto the show because we kind of brought you on in as a nothing but a technical
Right.
role, and then we're like, just start talking.
Well, I mean, I didn't shut up. Like, I was maybe quiet the first episode, and I think almost immediately after that. I just
And
kept
no
going.
regrets, honestly.
Awesome. That's a good thing. So, yeah, no, we were talking, and one of the things I told you is I was capable of producing the video and these types of shows. I used to do this thing for this, and it was affiliated with that radio station, and this and that and the other. And one of the things you said was, look, if you were doing that, why aren't you still doing that? And I was like, I'm trying to, you dense shit. Let me in. Like, I'm trying to get in there and do this thing. But all that is to say that when I left nursing, and quick backstory, I was a nurse from the age of 18 to 28. So for 10 years, I was a licensed vocational nurse in the state of Texas, started doing correctional health, moved into orthopedic rehab, and then I rounded out my career in intensive care step-down units and telemetry. And then just stopped. I'm done with it. And so one of the very first things I did was just kind of hang out in the comic shops, local friends and stuff like that. And I had these ideas, these machinations of what I could do instead of nursing. And every single one of them required video marketing. Every single one of them needed me to know how to use a camera and get an idea out there and push a message and whatnot. And so I just made that the thing. All right, well, I'm going to go into video production. I'm going to learn how to produce content. And then the second half of that wasn't solely for career purposes, but I'm finding now. In fact, I got into an argument with a friend about this the other day.
You're getting a lot of arguments.
That's what I do.
Do you ever realize that if you're the one getting into a lot of arguments, it's probably your fault?
I will claim the fault in the following manner.
Okay.
And it would be the one hashtag that I live by, which is hashtag no unchecked bullshit. So if there's bullshit, I want to check it out, right? That's kind of how it goes.
Sure.
So, yeah, no, I mean, I had a buddy who, when I started Deep Video, it was with Norwood, me and my buddy Norwood. And he basically said, come out here and film this stuff, because we had that nifty little camera that had the really great audio for that type of stuff. And I've just kind of grown that way recording his band. And
Isn't that camera right there?
Oh, I was
it's
gonna
that
say
one.
you mean the camera that's right over there.
You never
that
upgrade your
nifty
stuff.
little thing right there. I know, right? They're all right here.
I like them though. I mean, they serve their purpose.
They're gorilla.
They do a good job.
They're stupid.
So I was filming his band recently, like a couple of weeks ago. They had a snag at this part. There's a brand new song. They go to the bridge. A guitar falls out of tune, and they're unable to continue that part of the bridge the same way that they want it to be. I caught it on tape anyway. I edited it. I published it, and my buddy asked me to take it down. And I'm like, what? He goes, no, really, that's pretty embarrassing, dude. Can you take it down? I'm like, all right, look here. I know you and I've known you for years and I'm going to do what you asked, but I would never consider this for another artist. And he was shocked. He's like, why? And I'm like, because what I'm doing is making a memory. I'm time-stamping your night. I'm not giving you a good memory.
Sure, you're not making a
And then-
music video. You're not.
Right, yeah.
It's a documentation.
Right.
Yeah.
It really is. And see, that's where I was like, how do I explain this to my...
You have the world's worst microphone stand. All right, go ahead.
So we do this back and forth for probably, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes on Facebook chats going bing, 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 bing.
Your affinity for
Of-
Facebook chat is.
It's like my
a-
master console.
No, what's ridiculous is that I'll get a text message from you. I'll ask you something, and then you'll answer it in Facebook chat.
Oh, you text? You really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've had a problem recently where this thing, my phone...
Nobody cares about any of this. I
Alright.
believe you, but
That's the thing. I'm pretty quick on... Oh, yeah, that's true. Even before that, I would do it on... You know why? Because the computer keys were right underneath my fingers. They were right there. I could just go clackety, clackety, clack. That's why.
I mean, he bought a phone specifically for a stylus, and so it's much easier for him to just type out the message than to poke at the letters on the phone. I mean,
It's one of those things.
just how it happens.
At any rate, I had to inform my buddy Norwood that I consider myself to be a documentarian. I looked the word up. I'm like, yeah, that seems accurate. I want to present historical representations. When I talk about deep video and what we do, I always highlight we're time stamping the events. In fact, one of the people that I'm trying to network with is like, why do you do that? I'm like, because there's stuff happening out there right now. Like, there's an entire scene of creatives that are coming together and moving forward, and they're making all this stuff. And I can tell you about it in a conversation at the bar next week, or I can show you on this video.
absolutely.
And that's the point of doing it.
I like your videos.
Well,
like
thank you.
I'm not just blowing smoke because we're co-oping on this episode, but I genuinely like them. So,
I mean,
all right, go ahead and shut it down.
so we might have gotten a little bit off track there. So to recap, we talked co-ops. We talked about the idea of getting all the freelancers under one giant United Clan banner and kicking the ass of the DFW
Let's
video needs.
time out. Let's not call it a clan banner.
It is now.
No,
No?
we're all too pasty to be associated with any sort of clan.
Well, except for the Highlander Hilty ones.
I
Okay,
was-
you know what
yeah,
it is?
I was just making the Braveheart reference.
Yeah.
No, doesn't work.
I'm going to take this man's genius marketing level experience and redub it something other than what we said it was.
You want me to come up with something new?
Yeah. Just like retrofit it and edit.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Why don't y'all just call it a bro op?
I love it. So we've
There's
created
no
a
way
freelancer
nobody
bro
else.
op.
No way that nobody else has said
Although
that.
that being said, I don't know if it makes me weird, but I am really dedicated to finding as many female creators as I can to have proper representation in the co-op moving forward. I don't know what it is, but it seems like the type of photography that I'm into, the concert photography and all that, turns into a sausage fest. It turns out to be bros hanging out doing stuff. So eventually, hopefully, we find the other aspect, the other side of the lens, a female perspective on moving forward with this type of stuff. Just gotta throw that out there.
No. I totally get you.
I'm not gay.
So yeah, we talked worker owned cooperative with the bro op like that. We talked about the difference between a cooperative radio network that might spend time developing your brand, making sure you have a good online presence, really supporting you to get to a place of growth outside of the cooperative, some place that you can take this and become the next Mark Maron, if that's where you're going.
And yeah, sure.
And
I do enjoy me some Marin.
we talked
From
about
WTF.
All day, Marin.
the Indiegogo campaign that we got going on right now. So I guess we'll wind it down. Alex, do you got anything for the folks that are listening to my side of the show?
Genuinely, if it's something you're considering, or even if you're not considering it, just keep doing what you're doing no matter what. Don't let don't let business, don't even let the lack of viewers
Right.
deter you from creating something special, because one day, one person, whether that be somebody else or yourself, is going to stumble across what you took time to create and what you put your heart and soul into, and it's going to be appreciated. And if you look back on it with regrets, that was you at that point in time, and
Not
that's
now.
who you were.
Right.
And that's a time capsule, and we live in a world of little digital time capsules. So fill it up and let people see the world that you see, and don't stop creating.
Right on.
It's nicely put.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Pretty succinct, man.
Yeah, do what you
didn't
got to
practice that before we got here?
No.
Nice.
45
I appreciate
minutes.
the genuineness of that.
45 minutes is
Right.
mirror practicing. I did also practice my flexing.
Nice
in front
subliminal
of the
man
mirror.
that you did there. That was good. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Well, thanks for listening to another and probably the longest episode of 3030 with Deep Video 3030 with Jason Dyer. We were joined in camaraderie and team spirit by Alex Lee here with Trade Paper Hacks and Paul Wofford Jr., my right-hand man in Deep Video.
Yo.
Thanks for listening. If you want to find us, send me an email and tell me how horrible this show was at deepvideobooking@gmail.com. Find me on Facebook and comment on the attractiveness of the beard length at facebook.com/deepvideo. Find me on Twitter just to give me a thumbs up and make sure I'm still okay in the world at twitter.com/deepvideo. Find us at Instagram, where we were way too poor to afford the final two vowels at deepvid. And most importantly, please, please, please help us become a co-op. Go to Indiegogo and search for cooperatives. We're in the top 3. We're right there, the first page. Don't miss us. It starts with the letter D.
You can also subscribe at youtube.com/deepvideolive.
Yeah, we finally got that name, but we had to throw live on the end of it.
I like it. I think it's okay.
It makes total sense to what we do.
Sure.
So that's it for me, man. That's my part. I'm out.
Can you plug me?
And make sure to tune in for TPH.
Yeah, tradepaperhacks.podbean.com and facebook.com/tradepaperhacks. Their stuff's more important. Go contribute on the Indiegogo. And
Trade Paper Hacks is also on Twitter.
Trade
It
Paper
is.
Hacks. Do you want to do my entire outro? Do you know it? Do you have it memorized? I haven't been a fan.
No,
No, don't worry. My shit.
I can't memorize it.
If they
It's
want
okay.
to, they'll find us. It was the only thing that pops up when you Google Trade Paper Hacks.
Thankfully. That's actually pretty hard to get that, man. You'd be surprised. With Deep Video, there's so many things.
Nobody else is that stupid to do Trade Paper Hacks. So
That's good. That's good.
yeah.
All right. That's it for us. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.